Okay everybody, so in this video let's review what an actual theory and shifts in view in a field from one theory to another looks like. So in our science, when we're evaluating theories, we're constantly thinking, well, is there possibly a better way to explain this phenomena? So let's go back to attachment, right? So when we're thinking about attachment between an infant and an adult, we're trying to figure out, well, why is it that this infant becomes attached to that parent, right? In this time, they were very, very focused on it just being the mother. Now we know it's, even before that we knew, but now in research, we include parents, we include extended family, but here they're focusing on the parents alone, primarily the mother, but they had this idea, this theory that had evidence to support it, that attachment formed based on the parent providing for the infant, providing protection, providing food, right? So when you hear cupboard, think of it, the cupboard where you have food, you have the plates, you wouldn't have the milk there, right? But that's what they call it, the cupboard theory. You could call it the fridge theory, right? They're going in there, getting all the things that the infant needs to survive, and that's where it gets its name, right? You're providing for the infant, you're protecting the infant. That's how attachment forms. So you had this existing theory. They had research to support this point of view, but then along came a different researcher, right? You might have seen the videos, and you'll see the videos in this class, but you'll see Harlow's experiments with rhesus monkeys, and they had a different point of view, and because it was a research team, but there was a different idea proposed regarding why attachment forms, right? So they felt that it's not just providing these resources for survival. There's some socio-emotional aspect to the forming of attachment, right? It's not just providing this protection, this food. It's that there's something about that contact between humans, that bond we form outside of this, that explains why infants become attached to their parents. So in the study by Harlow, they looked at, well, do these rhesus monkeys, do they go towards the contact and comfort? Or do they go towards the situation, the parent that provides for their needs, right? So in this experiment, pretty simple design, but it changed the way we thought about attachment, because keep in mind, before we thought, if the infant is provided for, if they're getting food, they're good. You weren't thinking about, we have to hold them, they have to be with an adult. If they're being provided for, if all their living needs are met, then they're fine. So this study changed that point of view. Now we had a simple design. We had the rhesus monkey wire mesh mother or parent that had the food, right? So a bottle with milk. And we had another one that was fuzzy and provided the comfort. So they had these rhesus monkeys that were introduced into the situation, and they looked at, well, where do they spend most of their time? Do they spend most of their time with the mother that provides food, which would support the cupboard theory? Or do they spend more time with the mother that had the terry cloth wrapped around them, right? So this mother with the terry cloth was softer, provided that contact comfort, right? So if they spent more time with that mother, despite it not providing food, that's evidence suggesting that it's not just a cupboard theory. There's something to contact comfort that relates to attachment, right? Supporting the contact comfort theory. And what they found from the study is that, yes, the rhesus monkeys spent more time with the terry cloth mother, the fuzzy mother. There was something about touch and contact that was important to attachment. They spent more time there than they did with the food, right? They would run over, get food, then run back. Now, there's obviously more to attachment, right? But this provided more support for this being the important part. And why I say that there's obviously more is because when you look at those rhesus monkeys, they didn't have the social skills to interact with other rhesus monkeys, showing that yes, that's important, right, to forming attachment, like having this contact comfort, but there's so much more that infants learn from their parents. It's not just the food they're being provided. So anyways, that's just an example of how theories change over time, how there was one prevailing theory, the cupboard theory, the cupboard theory, and how a new theory came in, and through evidence, right? So this was just one example study, and I have a video of that study, but through research study after research study, challenged the existing theory and changed the paradigm of how we thought about attachment, right? But it changed our point of view to thinking about, yes, it's important to provide for infants, but how we form an attachment is not just that. It has to do with contact and comfort. So now referring back to applied and basic research, this was basic research, right? Understanding how does contact develop between an infant and an adult rhesus monkey. But then the implications of these findings changed how we handled infants in hospital settings, right? People were more likely, doctors were more likely to recommend and be open to the idea that, well, maybe it's okay to hold infants. Maybe we shouldn't separate them from the mother right away. Maybe that's just as important as putting them on some type of emergency support that they might need. Maybe we need to make sure they're still getting touched by the parents, and later on, right, the smell of the parents. So hopefully, you found this interesting. At least you'll have the video to look at. Look at the video, even if you've seen it before, just to remind yourself of what the study design looked like. And keep in mind, this is how theories change, right? You have an existing theory that has been supported by research. And at that point, it made sense that we believed that. But then a new point of view came in that challenged the existing theory, but then they developed their own evidence to show, well, it's not just, yes, you need to provide for children, right? Those rhesus monkeys were still going to get milk from the wire mesh mother, but you need contact and you need comfort for that child to develop that attachment.